A very good morning to each and every one of you, and my apologies. I am 8 minutes late because for the past 15-20 minutes, I've been frantically looking for my notes, which I can't find. And I decided that, not notes, my slides. So I prepared wonderful slides. But nonetheless, I want to be doing this with you all now. So I'm going ahead. Okay, so shocking truths every mom needs to know. So this is the first part. The second part will be on Tuesday. So I want to ask each and every one of you now, right? What is the number one experience of most mothers? If you were to just type in, like when you wake up or before you fall to sleep or in a day, what's your normal experience? I would love you to actively engage as you type your comments. I will be able to read them. Let me go to comments. Would you agree? Okay, I think as you type in your comments, the number one experience of a lot of mothers is that we are often tired, right? And it's not just the physical experience I'm talking about. I'm talking about the emotion, the mental low energy that I don't know about you, okay, constantly have. So, and this is what I want to say. If we have low batteries, it's no wonder we are rarely at our best with our kids. So today, I want to expose 3 truths that we rarely hear that keeps us from our peak. My request that if you find it useful, you share this and join me every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m. or catch the replays and do comment throughout, okay? So number one, so I apologize again. I prepared slides and I'm late because I was trying to look for my slides. So I think it's time I clean up my entire computer with the many different files and folders I have, okay? So the first question I want to ask you, and you have to answer one only, I cannot say both. So what kind of a mom are you? That's the 3 questions that I will have for 3 different mindset myths I want to debunk. The first one, selfish mom or selfless mom? Take some time to consider. Must come up with one lah. Please don't just listen to me throughout, because if you come up with one, if you choose to take a position, trust me, this will go deeper. Very often when we just listen, there is no deep impact because we chose to not engage. So engage with me, okay? And as you type in, selfish or selfless mom, which mom do you think you are? Just now, just give an answer, right? The right answer is the honest one for you, okay? So a word of caution before I go on, I'm controversial. So I may challenge your paradigm and I ask that you be open. If you don't like me, it's fine, because I'm for moms who want to grow. And in growing, that means having our views challenged. Because I believe that moms are truly the engines of change in every household. Okay? So which mom are you? Question number 1. Please key in. A, selfish. B, selfless. Engage with me, okay? So trust me, if you are actively engaged, this entire session will be more impactful to you compared to if you take the safe, neutral ground, okay? So let me give the definition of selfless first, okay? Selfless. We've been conditioned as kids to share, to give without expecting, to put others before yourself, which sounds right? Because if the world revolves around me, that would be so immature. And then moms are naturally protective. All of our decisions come from what's best for our child. Am I right? How do I give him or her a head start in life? How do I best prepare them for life? So we give and we give and we give. Selfless could look like, it's no more about me, but all about my child. We zoom in into their needs and unconsciously fade ours out. Some of us even lose ourselves as we focus on the child. So that's selfless. A, if you're a selfless mom. Let's look at B, the selfish mom. The definition of selfish. People who think for themselves with little or no regard for others. They are so focused on their needs that they seem oblivious to the needs of those around them. So for example, they pretend not to see the old lady on the MRT so they won't have to stand and give their seat. They only care that their kids do well in school. So they send their kids for tuition. They make sure that their kids eat the best food for nutrition at buffet tables. Chinese New Year is coming, right? I don't know about you, but at bigger gatherings, buffet tables, if their loved one is late, they make sure they get a plate and pile the best things so that their loved one has a plate of, even if they are late. Okay. And then they choke seats with tissue paper, even though their friend is not yet there. The list goes on. But I want to ask you, A, selfless, B, selfish. Just for fun, just type in one. Which one are you? So why I ask, so which one is more real for you? Okay, more selfless actions or more selfish actions? I ask because this is an activity I did when I went for a training once. And basically the scenario was to imagine that we are on an island with 15 survivors. A boat comes, but can only take 2. The 2 they take will depend on who's worthy to leave. So everyone gets, so everyone gets a choice to, so everyone has a chance to state why they should be chosen. At first, I didn't care, to be frank. I want you to think now. Would you stand up and say, no, I want to leave? Okay? Because it's a hypothetical game, right? But then the other people in my group took it seriously, As each person began to stand up and make their speech, I began to actually take it seriously because, the instructor was like, come on, take this seriously, take this seriously. And it's hard, I know, for you now, wherever you are, whether at home or in your office or commuting, to imagine, are you sure not 15 people, what will I do? But just play. And I want to pause for a while. If there were only 15 of you, what would this be your speech to say, I want to leave, take me on the boat? Or would you just selflessly let the others go? As I immerse myself in the game, I begin to get connected with why I want to leave. I wanted to make a difference for others. I want to live this one short life to the fullest. And I could do none of it if I was dead. So my choice between selfless and selfish, I want to be selfish. In that moment, I chose to be selfish. Because if there's no self, there's no junior. If I'm dead, I can't do anything. When I'm selfish, I can be around for my kids and to do what I want to do. So if you label me as selfish, let it be. Let me be the most selfish mom ever because I don't want to die. The truth is I want to live. And this is where I want to pause and say this. Even though many of us are breathing, are we living our best lives or are we holding back? Because for a very long time in my life, I used to hold back. I used to toe the line, not rock the boat too much, not say everything that I want to say. I was just a mole like everyone else. Except this, moms. None of us, you, me, you were not born to be like anyone else. You are an original. Don't die a copy. So, I'm selfish, unapologetically admitting it. And my heart is to break the paradigm, to shift it to the other way, okay? Because of this one principle, we live in a world of duality. We define light when we have darkness, hot, cold, love, hate, good, bad. There's always both. But the truth is, we've been so conditioned and brainwashed to be selfless, that we only major on this without that balance, right? And and this causes an imbalance. So the shadow effect, it's something I talk about in my book, talks about how we have been socially conditioned to accept what is only good, right? So when we were young, if your mother say, "Ayo, you eat so much, so greedy," we register, don't be greedy. Okay, be selfless, give up. Even though I really want to eat, just pretend I don't. And as we begin to bury those shadows, those less desirable sides that society has taught us, that begins the shift, what we call the collective shadow or an imbalance. Okay. So we are taught selfless is good, selfish is bad. We are shown examples of selfish people and shame if we dare to be like them. We grow up avoiding any actions and chide ourselves if we have selfish thoughts. Why you never share? So selfish, right? Yet, I invite us to embrace the duality in us all. So I don't know if you've read this classic, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde is a respectable, upright man, and he's a doctor, right? And Dr. Jekyll is an respectable, upright man. He creates a potion to divide the good and the bad side, right? We all want the good in our life here. That's what we teach our kids, right? So that he can walk in pure righteousness. He doesn't have to have that inner struggle. Yeah. The short of the story is the experiment goes horribly wrong. And he turns into this hideous Mr. Hyde at night, where he roams the streets, killing people and committing atrocities. So initially, he could control the transformation. In the daytime, very associated with the good and the light, he is this respectable, kind, very generous Dr. Jekyll. At night, he becomes this creature that he doesn't even understand or can identify with anymore. The story ends with Mr. Hyde overpowering the doctor, killing them both. Okay. My point is, we all want to be good. Yet, when we avoid or deny the bad parts in us, it really stays in our unconsciousness. Okay. And it's only when we admit that we have both is the beginning where the shadow doesn't control us. For example, let me ask you. So we begin to identify the shadows in our life because we all have many. Notice your inner reaction when I say, wow, you're so selfless. You care so much for your kids. Okay, A. Second one, ayo, you're such a selfish mother. Which one feels better? Which one stings you? We all want to be selfless and have our unconsciousness reject the negative side. My point is, we all have both. When we can accept that I am selfish, it frees me to be less triggered by the selfish actions of others because I get that we are all the same. So there's no more judgment. When I see another mom that I deem selfish, I have owned that part in me. So it's no longer a trigger, okay? So the first mindset shift is, it's okay to be selfish. It really is honest and humble to admit that there is this part of me that is selfish. And that's natural because that's my basic instinct to survive. I hope this frees us from that dream picture of a selfless mother, because in reality, the self-sacrificing mother is often short-fused, gets frustrated easily, and secretly resents the demands of people, her life, circumstances. There is nothing enlightening about doing so much. We make ourselves to be a martyr, where our kids become the singular priority in our lives. Many of us give up our jobs. We move our homes closer to school. We stop communicating with our partners, right? Initially, husband and wife, and then when the kid comes, the kid hogs the entire limelight. But the biggest is this: we stop looking after ourselves. So naturally, after giving so much, there is always an expectation, whether we're conscious or not, okay? So today, let's stop embracing selflessness and rejecting selfishness. We have both. Let's embrace both. Please, I hope this frees you to look after yourself. And the second reason why moms are toasted is because we give too much for too long. So the second, what kind of mom are you? A giver, or B, a taker? A simple definition, right? I want you to think of someone now. Could be your mom, could be your child, could be your employer, right? A giver, after your interaction with this person, how do you feel? A giver is someone who makes you feel topped up, who leaves you in a better space. Likewise, a taker is someone who leaves you feeling less than, whether it's your spirit that has been depleted or your belief in yourself, right? So taker brings a smile to your face, makes you feel like you can do something that you originally thought you couldn't. A taker, on the other hand, zaps your energy, as simple as that. So how many of you feel that I'm a giver? How many of you feel I'm a taker? We've covered the first part earlier already, so I'm not going to do the same. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do an exercise with you, okay? Before I do this exercise, I want you to notice how's your reaction towards a taker, right? Is it like a bit upset or so? You know, these people take and take and take from me. If that is your reaction, if there's a strong emotional reaction to anything in life, right? it means that that is a part of you you haven't yet owned. Right. So, for example, if somebody tells me, Junior, you're ugly, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm quite cool with it. Somebody tells me, Junior, you are selfish, I'm okay with a lot of things, right? But when someone tells me things like, Junior, you're so weak, then when I get triggered, the key is this: when you get triggered by whatever people say about you, you can't be with it. It's potentially a part of you that you haven't owned. So, for example, for me, I probably don't want to be seen as weak, and I haven't embraced that it's okay to be vulnerable. Okay, so back to the exercise. Okay, I want you to take a breath in wherever you are with me now. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. And now breathe out slowly. Slowly. I want you to exhale and give more. Push out more of that breath. Out, 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 out. Keep giving, keep giving. Push out the breath some more. It feels so good to give, right? So keep giving that breath away. Keep giving until it hurts. Okay, before your lungs explode, we've been told we can't take. It's bad. But you see, just like our breath, taking and giving, that's the natural rhythm in life. That is where there is balance. Okay, so if you don't like the word taking, then just use the word receiving. Giving, to me, I'm not going to dwell on that because I think a lot of mothers give and give and give. My focus today is on the other side, receiver. How good a receiver are you when people reach out to help you, when you take things? I used to be a bad receiver, okay, where I felt awkward to ask people for help. I've since grown to accept that it's fine, okay? So we can't keep giving and giving and giving. Nature doesn't like it. It doesn't work this way. Okay, so always remember this exercise: give and take and give. Just like our breath, that is where we find balance. And I'm slating this in between both, right? Because I want you to remember the next time something triggers you, whether it's a noisy child, you're stressed about your kid's studies, or you're upset with a neighbor, breathe in. Get present with each breath. After taking all the upset in, you're present, right? I'm like, with that neighbor. Breathe it all out. Let it all go. The expectations, the upset. And then not enough, breathe in and breathe out again. As you own it, let it go. Let it go. Let that be your generous act to them. Because in any relationship, there is a give and take, right? There are times I take, even with the kids, right? I tell them, I've been doing so much for you. Now mommy wants my own alone time. You go and play by yourself. Now it's my time to work. And it's fun, okay? So the kids grow up very independently. I don't always have to be with them, okay? And then I'll tell them we'll meet later for this or that, you know? So always remember, taking and giving are two sides of a coin that brings balance. Finally, the third question. What kind of mom are you? Good versus bad. You would know by now, right? Which has society conditioned us to embrace? I love the movie Bad Moms, right? Because that was so hilarious. If you haven't caught it, I watched it with a group of moms and it was so freeing. So we will all want to be good. So we obey on the outside, even though on the inside we may not be aligned. Worse, we teach our kids to do the same. So here's where you say, Julia, are you teaching me to teach my kids to do bad? No, I'm inviting you to remove the word bad from your vocabulary. I get this, right? Because like what I said, I'm controversial. Because we live in a world of good, bad. And every time there's bad, there's automatic judgment. This works for me. It may not work for you, okay? But the thing about judgments is it's always so rigid, it's fixed, and oh, so righteous, compared to the fluidity, compassion, understanding, or yielding nature of moms, okay? So this is where I want to say, because what makes something good or bad is really subjective. It's the context that is decisive. For example, I want to give us an water, okay? Is water good or bad for us? I think many of us accept that our body needs at least 70% of fluids. So we've been taught to drink water to stay healthy, am I right? And yet, there is a certain tribe in Amazon where they don't drink water because there are parasites in the water. And So water is known to be dangerous for them, right? So the context is where we are in Singapore and in most countries where water is good and healthy. It shifts the context. I want to give us another one. We are brought up knowing that stealing is bad. Context, right? What if I'm stealing to save my dying mother? Some say, Junior, the means never justifies the end. There's always another way. Really? Let's use another example. A child who cheats in school because they want to make us happy. When we find out they cheat, do we tell them it's wrong and we punish them? Or do we get that they were resourceful, good, to create opportunities to get our attention? I'm going to drive it home even more. They wanted to make us happy. Who's the one who's been pushing them? Who actually set them up for the action that they chose to do? Of course, we didn't tell them to cheat, right? But this is a realization or an epiphany that hit me one day when the girls were talking at my dining table about cheating, right? I stopped the conversation. I said, girls, for those of you who read my book, in the first chapter, I admit, hey, y'all cannot make it. Mommy is the best cheat. And I shared with them how, as a student, I used to cheat. I'm not talking here about morality, good or bad. But what I'm sharing here is the connection. Is as moms, do we take the responsibility to say, yeah, if my big or my bad circle is so big, so huge, or I'm only focusing on that, how else can I shift that? Okay. So, so ideally, so what I said is, girls, mommy is sorry. I'm sorry because I put so much emphasis on studies that you felt that you had to cheat to get the grade so that I would be happy. From now on, I told them, and this is how extreme I am. I'm not saying you have to, but for me, this is what I'm at peace with. I told them from now on, I'd rather you fail than you cheat, right? Grades are no longer going to be a priority for you, for us and this family. And my personal belief, just a sidetrack, is because getting good grades means that I understand the system very well. And that while this is a great system, it is rigid. There are other systems. So this is one of many things, okay? But that's a topic for another time. So, so ideally, yes, we share with them our values and we change. So it's no more a significance to grade. So they won't be stressed to actually cheat. So why I want to bring this last one up, right, is very often as moms, we hide behind good and bad. I'm teaching them good, to justify our expectations or our decisions. My heart is that regardless, right, if we throw bad away, it opens a space to fluidly listen, to truly connect. I want to suggest that we have the ability to change our perspective. So this is an exercise that I do, right, for myself. The richest man in US, I think in the 1900s, richest man, he had one practice. I'm going to tell you what business he did, okay? But he has one practice. And that one practice is 2 words. That's good. So it didn't matter what he was doing or what he faced. He would always, so a circumstance could happen, right? Like an accident. He would say, first thing, right, that's good. Because when you say that's good, it literally interrupts the unconscious thoughts in our head. And then proceeds to look for the good in it. He owned the largest insurance company in US. And trust me, when I started practicing this, right, it was so many. I mean, I can share with you, for example, for me, right, I'm in the midst of having a helper, and then just yesterday we confirmed one, and then Myanmar shut their borders just yesterday. So, but when I choose to see, I lie down and instead of allowing worry and problems to plague me, I'm like, okay, that's good. Not just saying it for the sake of giving it lip service, but how do I, then I begin to search for the good in it. So whatever my kids do, right, like yesterday came back, asked me to sign things here, 4 upon 10. I'm like, that's good. So darling, how many do you intend to get right the next time? Okay, okay, so to each our own. But as we begin to look for the good, my heart is, as our perspective becomes broader and more flexible, the connection with our kids becomes less rigid. So in closing, I want to say, let's embrace the selfishness. Let's get comfortable with receiving and removing bad from our vocabulary. And that emerges the self-love mom, the woman who practices self-care. So the people around her gets to experience her at her best. So this Thursday, we'll be talking about the application. The acronym is LETME, let me. how, where, and what we can do to top ourselves up. I trust that you've had a good session, and please like, share, and I apologize, there's no slides. I prepared them, but that is live. So I think without having the slides is good, because honestly, I think having the slides would have taken me a lot on presentation or showmanship, but without it, it allowed me to connect more. So that's the application of That's Good. So I'll see you this Thursday and every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m. Till then, take care. Bye.